Great. This place is the same as it ever was. Morning. Got any new plans?
Hello, hello. Do we have one day left on? Ah, this. Get these out of the way real quick before we start.
Hello, I'm Hayes. I like relaxing work environments. And an employer.
Captain of Reserve Op Team A6, Orchid, reporting in. Are you the doctor?
医療オペレーターのススーロです。ドクターは各方面に精通していて。
I am Ansel, a medical intern. I'll be assisting with surgery and internal medicine.
Hey, Frosty! You finally caught a stream? Well, I finally streamed since last time. I've been a bit busy with work. I don't get to stream as often anymore because as soon as I get home from work, I kind of just pass out. And like normally this is the time that I stream, except on Sundays. But now that I have work to deal with, I need to push back my streaming schedule. So, yeah, that's what's happening now. It's good to see you, though. It's good to see you. I play a lot of different games. A lot of them gacha, but I also play non-gacha games too. It's just right now, this gacha has a new chapter coming out, and I haven't finished the current chapter. So I'm ready to read and kill my throat today. Gonna support my cute friends? Aw, thanks. I appreciate it. I really do. I don't get much support like that nowadays. I may be affiliate, but I have no idea how I got there. So I know I have lurkers, and I don't mind the lurkers. I appreciate you. I appreciate you lurkers. I also appreciate my one friend that comes every so often. But it does get a bit hard to keep an eye on the chat because my monitor is above my head, so I have to crane my neck up. But I'm ready for lots of reading, except for the fact that I forgot to grab the water. So let me go grab that real quick because I'm gonna need it. Alright, now I'm back. Also, with the next chapter that's coming, I plan to do a cover. However, things are still being worked on. Still a bit nervous, but I still love to sing, so I'm hoping it turns out good. Let's get this started. The year 1098. 1:03 p.m. overcast. Palace of Westhaleg, Londinium. Even before Londinium was a nomadic city, the Palace of Westhaleg stood here. Its name was originally plain Westhaleg. The Draco royal family convened its ministers here in this palace and used their beloved golden ruby to decorate the outer walls. Said decorations went up in flames during the Great Fire 300 years ago. Still, the building's skeleton remained, and it bore witness to the first Aslan king's coronation. Thereafter, Westhaleg formally became the Palace of Westhaleg. To commemorate the age of peace and prosperity founded by the Draco and Aslan kings enjoying. 26 years ago, the last Aslan king was captured in the same place by Parliament's standing forces. And now this is no longer the building where the Victorian Parliament assembles. Sat at the conference table is but one person, not Draco, not Aslan, but Sarkaz. Teresis. Still no sign of movement from the Duke of Godin. Ever since the Viscount's life was attempted, our activity in the Demesne has been greatly influenced. Lavish salons held every night in the Duke Normandy's residence. But the flow of raw steel is extremely suspect, and all intelligence personnel have turned up empty-handed. Any sound from Dublin is drowned out by the Duke of Wellington's high-speed battleships roaring. We've, as of yet, been unable to penetrate into the Iron Duke's duchy, but no other duke would be able to impede the veteran without a doubt. The Marquis and Co. have finally given up on the Duke of Stafford's inheritance, and the Duke of Castor admitted envoys and gifts on New Year's Eve. Activity from all dukes have been growing increasingly frequent since last winter. It may be a sign that we're about to reach a conclusion. Preparations for Londinium remain at the same pace as... Hold for a moment. Sorry. What? You're sure? Lithanian? 3 days ago? This is too slow. Yes. It looks like they finally found results after the diplomatic peacemaking. Our new cipher's been decoded. It's word from the front line, General. Yes, I need to notify you ASAP. 3 days ago, the Empress's voice grandiloquently left the Duke of Windermere's. We didn't discover contact between the two sides at the time, but just today. City of Fortress changed course and is sailing straight for Londinium. That one's been nearest us over the past 2 years. It's pushing directly from Lithanian into the Victorian border, nearing the ravine. Yes, it's Kerfur's arch-enemy, Duke Windermere's army. Also, give me 1 second. Oh, already did it. Anyway, we're all good. Duke Windermere announces internationally. This is to avoid catastrophe. Silence once again hangs over the hall, but at this moment, with his eyes shut tight, Teresis sees thick fog outside of Londinium. Once it clears, the battle will come, right on schedule. Footsteps break through Teresa's train of thought. He is forced to open his eyes. Teresa's. It's you. Were you asleep? Perhaps. The Victorian dukes are a cunning lot. They meticulously sift through every word of intel that flows into Londinium, making the Sarkaz lose their heads. The advantage isn't ours in this gamble, yet neither have we been at a disadvantage. The military commission's business is always endless, such is our history's fragility. Even a single comment on a piece of information awry would suffice to forever damn Kazdel. But even now as we stand in Londinium, things have hardly changed much. You're still as weary as ever. No, one thing has changed. You're here. Ah. Yes, I am. The breadth of possibilities has crossed my mind, but if you were to take my head, perhaps you would make a much cleaner job of it than I. You would never think that way yourself. This was hypothetical, put forth by Manfred. I am always in need of some differing voices. What's on your mind now? A dream. Oh? I saw us still in Londinium, yet unarmed. Clouds enveloping the city, black stones growing everywhere, and the Sarkaz there in the way, between catastrophe and the crowd. Once a disaster lifted, Londinium's city gates were wide open to us, and the Victorians stood flanking the streets, cheering and welcoming us in. We entered this palace. The one sat on the throne no longer feared the black stones that grew up from us, and took our hands. He called the Sarkaz friends. It sounds unfathomable. There was more. I saw a vampire. Zenrer and Wendigo set foot together in reaches more northern than even Ursus, casting fragments of strange monsters back onto the frigid sky. And I saw Banshee and Damatsi venture into parts more southern than even Iberia walls against the ocean's descent within our boundless water. Countless Sarkaz giving their lives for this land. And Aslan, Draco, Feline, Capernae, Liberi stood together. Stood together? Yes, the Sarkaz were no longer the nomads excluded. The land embraced us, and we had roots anew. This dream was not mine. The scenario all originates from what you once described to me, a future the Sarkaz could have. I remember. But you told me then that my ideals were too distant, that it was not only our enemies who could never comprehend me, but neither could the Sarkaz. A myriad years of grievances became our weapons, one and all imposed upon me. You also told me that the flames of war within Sarkaz would tear them apart before I led them to that future. That was more likely in all respects. But you begrudge giving up any possibility, even if it may be a nascent spark. You've also said that this world was once only the Sarkaz, that the ancient elders wrested our homeland from our forebears' hands. Their souls in death and still murmur the Sancta's betrayal. how the royal court withers like autumn leaves, how our bloodline is lost in howls of grief, how ridiculous the sinners are in forgetting history, and how Kazel ruins strew all across Terra. And then they cry out, "The Sark has invaded our homeland." So better that the Sark has believed in the fight. The fight can herd our destinies together as one. Better than that, than peace. This isn't fair. To rule is a method of coexistence too. Terra will perish by its own hand before it controls those time-old questions it confronts. But our homeland would be more magnificent than the many of the Seaborn. Our hexacrafters would hold the northern menace at bay. Our knowledge, all-encompassing, would dispel Originium, even end the catastrophes. Before all that, the Sarkaz must reach an answer. You're right. They must. This is a conversation we've had countless times, but now you can hear their voices clearly. You can make real contact with their ancient souls with tendrils. So tell me, Teresa, did this myriad of years of all the Tikaz souls that lived and breathed and passed from life to the other shore in death, did they ever receive a momentary respite? I've already failed, Teresa's. Because you're a move behind. Because at this moment, it is we that stand here. Here. Londinium. Tell me, Teresa. When you stand atop the shard and look at the city, what is it that you see? That Victoria is a nation lush with ingenuity. Without doubt. In a few short centuries, they've built nomadic cities, withstood catastrophe, even attempted to control the storm. Not to mention those knights of white steam, the valiance of those steel suits of armor that ventured into Kazdel 200 years ago, falls far short of that which I saw in the years to follow. Perhaps it's a fault of our unique blood, for granting so many of us lives far too long. So long that in the intervals between one war and the next, we lift our heads, only to realize that, accepting the Sarkaz, everyone is progressing on. No, it has nothing to do with the length of an individual's life. They have the opportunity to progress, simply because of the past they monopolized, the freedom to choose between peace and war. Teresa, when I look at Londinium, I see the number of times this nation has gone wrong. The Victorians scorn how primitive the Sarkaz are, yet in essence they simply use the rules of the culture they founded to gild the greed and violence that runs in their deepest marrow. They tear at each other incessantly. Ultimately, everything they've made will be ruined by their own hands. That is why we could win this chance at freedom. Even if hope is still as remote, I won't give up on any possibility. Yes, in that regard, we've always been so alike. The year 1098. 1:34 p.m. overcast. Residence of the Duke of Cumberland. District of Londinium. Amiya. Doctor, our messenger has just sent back some key intel. The main Sarkaz forces are on their way back to the city right now. It's extremely likely this means they're about to wage war with the Duke's armies. But given precious intel, even if they do return to Londinium, the Sarkaz military won't be enough to directly contend with all the Dukes. With the Sarkaz choosing to act now, they obviously believe they've grasped some key power that will sway the situation for them. The Shard. That skyscraper the Sark has occupied? We've learned that there's weaponry concealed in the building, yes, but will it sway things? It will, Clavicia. Have you people ever taken note of the storm above the Shard? Oh, those dark clouds seem highly unusual. According to the intel we've obtained, there's no normal storm at all. That's a catastrophe the Shard is causing, even if it isn't entirely the same as a true catastrophe. The Sarkaz want to cause a catastrophe? They're still in Londinium themselves. What would they gain from destroying the city? They plan to weaponize the storm. We're not just conjecturing the Shard's purpose. This weapon, or this technology, is exactly Rhodes Island's chief objective in entering Londinium. Rhodes Island came for the clouds shrouding Londinium. Yes, it's not just a figure of speech. In the eventuality Teresis does activate the Shard, he'll lead the flames of war and storm together upon those he sees as the Sarkaz's enemies. No catastrophe messenger could predict a man-made catastrophe's course. No nomadic city could escape such a catastrophe's assault. Countless Sarkaz and Victorians will die in that battle. It'll likely be even more tragic for those who survive. Most of them will become infected. Not to mention, the Shard isn't on the border. It's in Londinium, a nation's very capital. Which means... once the technology is complete, it'll reach anywhere on Terra. The Sarkaz will use Victoria's power to destroy her. If we reach that stage, then everything the Corps has done will be for naught. The corpse. Even if we could rescue people from a catastrophe as Rhode Island does, Londinium and our livelihood would be past any point of return. Clavicia, Rhodes Island is greatly thankful to the Self-Salvation Corps. Without your help, we would have had no good way to enter into central Londinium. But neither I nor the Doctor will lie to you. No matter how Rhodes Island plans to approach the Shard, the battle ahead will be brutal. Each more brutal than the last. If we can't stop Teresis within the next few days, we'll be facing an all-out war, and the Dukes will march with an eye to enter Londinium. If the Corps chooses to wait for the Duke's armies, Amia, we can't do that. I'm the daughter of a textiles merchant. Most of the fighters, in fact, are just ordinary civilians. We have workers, farmers, craftsmen, traders. Our backgrounds are a tapestry of millions. Together, we have under the one goal of driving the Sarkaz out of Londinium as soon as possible. That's why the Corps won't place all its hope in the Dukes. Otherwise, we'd never have been able to take a stand ourselves. Our greatest fear, if it came to it, wouldn't even be Sarkaz controlling the Shard. It'd be the Dukes, dropping every shred of thought for the ramifications. So the Corps has no intent to suspend operations. Correct. On the contrary, in fact, with the war on the eve of breaking out, there are some things only the Self-Salvation Corps can do here in Londinium. Gaining as much possible intel on the Sarkaz supply lines. We think alike, Doctor. Should the Dukes wage war, the Sarkaz will surely have preparations made to hold Londinium. Being a steel fortress, Londinium is self-sufficient to an extent. However, the Sarkaz's actions within the city have long since outstripped that load. Still, unlike Londinium's previous masters, the Sarkaz don't get a drop of evident support from any of the Victoria's other cities. In comparison, while the dukes do all act on their own liberties, they'll each have their own steady flows of supplies. Supply line. Sarkaz do have some kind of hidden supply line, definitely. Completing the shard has been a multi-year undertaking. The idea that they're relying solely on Londinium's own production is practically impossible. It originates outside the city, and its terminus is in a Londinium munitions factory that builds weapons for the Sarkaz. Gonna lurk for a bit while I change laundry? No problem, Frosty. Take all the time you need. Right, if we can locate the supply line. The cores could be decisive in the coming war. Commander Clavicia, cooperation is still our best choice. I'm afraid so, Doctor. We need more intel on the munitions factory. The Corps has a fighter who knows Highbury in and out. Doctor, you know him very well. Feist? Right, he's the most suited candidate for this mission. With some minor preparations, he'll lead everyone away from the Sarkaz's watch and for the munitions factory. We still need other, more concrete sources of info. The Defense Forces Command HQ. It's a tower located at the border between Ochtrig and Highbury boroughs, and it controls the info network to the entirety of Londinium's defense systems. Given the supply line can penetrate Londinium, there must be recordings of it lying somewhere in the system. There's traitors in the defense's top brass, right? Their commander, Leto, threw himself to the Sarkaz a few years back. It'd be pointless to try and win backing from a treasonist. If we plan to raid their command tower, we need some other ways to seize system privileges. Of course, method aside, there's the fact that our troops desperately need new armaments. The Sarkaz have placed their sights back on the city interior, and our supplies are stretched thin. I'll think of some way to address the supply needs. When it comes to keeping Londinium going day to day, there is scarcely a Victorian trader who's fallen in line with the Sarkaz. Allerdale? However, in turn, there's a different matter that I need you all to help me with. Clavicia, Rhodes Island has brought Artorius' relic back to Londinium. Artorius? That's a surname of Royal Draco's descendants took. Exactly. I've checked with the doctor in Amia. It's the Artorius key, without a doubt. And that key opens the way to the door of the Mausoleum of Kings, which means we can retrieve the Realm Blade, the Sigh of Kings. Its significance goes beyond what any ordinary citizen would ever imagine. Trust me, please. It's not just some pretty piece of steel bestowed with symbolism. If we say the shard of Londinium's great, incomplete ambition, then the truth of the Victorian realm blade and the Mausoleum of Kings, that would be the Londinium's real ace in the sleeve. The Victorian realm blade. Isn't it just symbolic? Only a few nobles along with Victoria's royal families knew about it, and I happen to be a Cumberland. I believe you. The Mausoleum of Kings is practically a thing of myth to us, but if a royal key can open the door to it... Amiya, how exactly did Rhodes Island even get this key? Or should I not have asked? We won't conceal the key's history. But it isn't Rhodes Island's. It bears tales upon tales that I was never a part of, and could never tell you. For Rhodes Island's time with it, though, I can tell you bit by bit if you're interested. Thank you, Amiya. I'm just floored, really. The legacy of Artorias, the truth of the shard. It's as if Rhodes Island really have been preparing for all these years now to be here today in Londinium. But I won't delve any further for now. I won't make anyone else either. It might lose us an important ally. Phew. Amiya, Doctor, do you have anything else you want to tell me? There is one other thing, in fact. Clovicia, about my background. I'd like to have a chat with you. The flowers. Doctor, look at these flowers. They're growing. It's amazing. A place like this in the middle of Londinium, in a Sarkaz-occupied city. But it can't be the same for those around Miss Allerdale. You're both quite right, Doctor, Miss Amiya. Despite it being slightly neglected these past years, the Duke of Cumberland's Manor is still Londinium's most iconic building. I've not much recollection of my home out in the duchy. My childhood memories mostly tie me back to here. Nobody would ever truly leave this place to rot, would they? Miss Allerdale. The fact that she went to lay everything bare to Miss Clovicia, while it turns out your crew were already wise to Her Highness's identity. I didn't expect that, I'll confess. Vina and I do get along real well. Well, that reply of yours surprises me even more. Rhodes Island knew who Her Highness was, yet have been willing to treat her as Vina, leader of the Glasgow gang. Give Clovicia and Vina some more time. The Corps have their disagreements when it comes to nobles, you know, and Her Highness is going to have a lot to say. I'm sure you have questions for me too, mysterious little bunny. I'd like to jibber-jabber a little while the enigmatic Rhodes Island myself, before it's time to mingle with the merchants. Allerdale, is this residence truly secure? Rational question. The Sarkaz naturally have their motive for not flushing out the nobles in central Londinium. Londinium's a massive city. There's much too much for them to mind. But we've paid a tremendous price to sit in the middle of a war unscathed, Miss Amiya. Dignity, or what have you, is at least a valuable part of it. Given the chance, I'll explain to Rhodes Island in detail, but the Sarkaz informants surveying this manor are under our control, and for now, I ask you to trust me. They haven't realized we've infiltrated them. They're wrong to believe Londinium cities lost their every weapon after being isolated. Their mistake. You still have some way to counter the Sarkaz surveillance? Provisionally. No, if Her Highness has decided to be forthright, then it's not my place to be covering up either. For the sake of a smooth partnership, I can explicitly guarantee to you all that even now, the Cumberland residence has people who can establish extra-city contact. But the Sarkaz aren't fools. They're well versed in war. Indeed. But like I told you, Londinium's a massive city. They don't have enough people. They're all on their own. And that serves us opportunities. Correct. Seems I haven't satisfied you much with my response. No, Miss Allerdale, I just worry your burden's too heavy. What? If there really is some way for Victoria to keep control of Londinium, as it is now. No, I believe they can. But if they truly can, if they ultimately can, then what is it that they've been doing in practice all these years? That they've been having you do? Her face clearly twists for an instant. The flash of emotion is immeasurably magnified in Omnia's eyes. It's no simple resentment, nor wariness, nor panic. It's grief. A grief so familiar it hurts. I apologize, Miss Allerdale. I know I've offended you. Clavicia was right. We don't need to pry into each other. It could very well strain our progress instead, with this complex state of affairs. But if it's possible, please don't stifle yourself. We've seen the consequences of that time and again. Miss Allerdale? I'm being too heavy-handed, aren't I? No, Rhodes Island just keeps astonishing me. It seems I was judging you by your cover. I never did imagine you'd be this sort of leader. You must be at least a decade younger than me, but by the looks in your eyes, it's a very real thing. Not to mention, well, you've seen right through me, considering you even cracked the secret of the shard ahead of Clavicia and I, and brought the Red Dragon's key with you. Honestly, if Her Highness hadn't vouched for you, I might have just been even warier of Rhodes Island than Sarkaz. It's true, Londinium, no, the Sarkaz to us, have more significance still. That's why we're here. Well then, you're here. What are you fighting for? Her Highness gave me a simple synopsis of Rhodes Island. You seem to be all sorts of bound up with Sarkaz. But according to what I've heard, Rhodes Island has, and has always, worked for the sake of the infected. We do. Then the two of you must have plenty more going on in your heads right now. Leader and commander of Rhodes Island. As you say, there's a great deal of people and affairs in Londinium that we have inseparable ties to. I'm only speaking personally, and for the Doctor too, when I say that the truth and the past may be enough impetus on their own at this point for us to act. But we've already been through so much, and it's long stopped us from frivolously viewing the struggles and calamities, or placing our individual feelings above the greater problem. That's why we're here, to curb a war that would devastate the land, and to dissipate the ground zero of Victoria's woes. To prevent the extinction of a race, to find the lifeline that, by all rights, we have the methods to seek. To help the infected, the workers, and even the sarcas that have been desolated. We're here to help people, Miss Allerdale. Every single person with life. Every single person with the right to live. Only in the end that the majority can accept do the truths of the past have any significance. Amiya finishes her speech with resolution. In Allerdale's clear look of surprise, Amiya can't help but seek her heart. She's spoken her most genuine, sincere mind. Of that, there is no doubt. The operators that work alongside her must surely be filled with the same staunch conviction. Dr. Kaltzit stands ever more alone, carrying the weight of ideals. So this ideal's origin, the strong flame of conviction that drives Rhodes Island to move in such colossal risk, to rush headlong into this political maelstrom. Who lit it? And what if this answer of hers remains incapable of solving these pressing issues? Ah, what a good start. And we're already on... Yeah, we're already on standard. That's fine. I gotta remind myself what kind of enemies are in this. Croesus damage. Corruption when defeated. Continuously lose HP. Croesus damage, that's what I'm dealing with.
I am quite skilled at teamwork, but...
$10.98. 2:55 p.m. Overcast. Londinium. Lady Golding, at last you're back. Did I make it in time? Of course. You've rehearsed this play for well over a year, and this is the first time the children are performing the whole thing. We couldn't possibly start the show without you. I must find myself a good seat then. Children, are you ready? Ready. Let's begin then. Lights. Act 1, Scene 1. Good morning, sir. There is a look of concern on your face. Is something worrying you? The horn of victory has blown atop the walls for 3 days and nights, but why do I feel uneasy? Has our great general not returned triumphant? Praise his bravery and fearlessness. Bravery? Fearlessness? Perhaps, but you did not see the light in his eyes when he returned. He gazed upon the crown. He was like a condor wing circling above a limping meat beast. Greed can send the most kind-hearted man straight to hell. And the masses will forever believe he reaped only what he had sown. These are our terms, Miss Allerdale. You need certain goods transported into Londinium, and this is nothing like what we usually carry. Both the quantity and the weight are highly unusual. Give me 1 second. I have a missed call. From Florida. That's weird. Alright. We're good to go again. I shan't ask what it is you need transported and why you need them brought into the city, but you must know that the risk we will carry for transporting them is immense. And I'm certain you know that there are not many men out there who can do this for you. The Sarkaz keep a close eye on all ports of entry. Should they learn of this under-the-table deal, not one of us will leave Londinium alive. Even if your background and the greed of your friends watching your back are enough to keep your lifestyle in Londinium as is, I'm afraid they won't help with this affair. If you want this deal to go through, you must put something worth the risk on the table. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me, Batter. I will consider your proposal. Time waits for no one. You must make your decision soon. Their asking price is high. We've discussed the situation. The royal mint is in Sarkaz's hands. News of this must have already spread throughout the entire country via the Magna bankers. Merchant smugglers are worried that the payment they earn will be worthless by the time next month. Naturally, they demand a method of payment that will keep its value in the long term. You intend to accept his terms? Batter was right. Time waits for no one. We have at most 5 more days to prepare. If we are to ambush the Defense Forces command tower, we need to bring more weapons into the city. But what they demand is very dear to you. Huh. But this is the position we are in, Clovicia. This is the position I am in. How would you figure what it means to me? I'm afraid... No, I can say this for sure. Your speculations are all wrong. Do you think of me simply as the magnificent Duke of Cumberland? You likely weren't even born yet, but I saw them hang Victoria's magnificent Lion King in the palace gardens with my own 2 eyes. My name is Cumberland, and everyone knows Cumberland was His Majesty's most faithful friend. Do you think the reason I stand here in front of you, completely unharmed, is because the bigwigs in Parliament had mercy on me? Even now, I still regularly attend Lieutenant Colonel Leteau's cocktail parties. My words still carry some weight there, and they still need me to soothe the masses. Of course, this is for our cause. It is also my own means. I understand your sacrifice. Without your protection, the Self-Salvation Corps could not have made it to this day. I'm not a girl anymore. That thing in the attic means nothing. It is a pile of scrap. Elsie, make the arrangements and have it brought down from the attic. You disagree with my decision? I dare not speak, miss. I demand it of you. Lady Allerdale, no matter what you say, it's still House Cumberland's steam armor. The blood of your ancestors, that most esteemed duke's blood flows within that armor. It is an honor that Victoria bestowed upon House Cumberland, and it is the symbol of your house, ever on high. It can be destroyed in the flames of war. It can be given to another who is noble and unsullied. It can't be traded to a greedy merchant. You don't think Bader is worthy? An ancient set of armor, treated as lowly collectible, and that then traded away at a bargain price for just... Elsie, you have been at my side all these years, ever since I was born. We've kept the long-fallen House Cumberland alive. My house was built on nothing but a bunch of empty words. Glory, loyalty, nobility, or perhaps benevolence. But none of them hold any meaning today. It's you and I upon whom this house now stands. I understand, miss. Have we gotten a letter from them today? Not yet. You know, the music of the past, as if it rings loud in my head. The manor once hosted a king, but where is he now? My apologies, Your Highness. Call me Vina. Welcome, Vina. I've returned from patrolling with the fighters. You're still willing to go on missions with the fighters of the Self-Salvation Corps. Splendid. I want to do as much as I can. It's more than enough for the men to simply know you are here. I've heard from Clavicia. The attic is absolutely cluttered with rubbish. I've got to pull myself together and clean up a bit. Lots of dust there. You mustn't have your highness helping me with such things. Allerdale. I want you to sell the armor. I don't want you to sell the armor. Is that an edict from your highness? I have no right to issue one. You're the one responsible for the Self-Salvation Corps, not me. You know better than I what's right for the Corps, and I understand that the armor will buy us an opportunity. But please, give me more time. Give me some time. I will find a way. Vina, you mustn't worry yourself over this. Is that an order from the Self-Salvation Corps district leader? If nothing ever happened, perhaps. Never mind. It's all in the past. Lady Heidi. What is it? Do we have any news from Golding? Yes, she just sent up a message to the transmitter at the bookstore. It's been forwarded to your terminal. Good. Very good. She says she's safe. Everything in Ochterig is proceeding according to plan. Also, I will be right back. I need to get some food. I'm hungry. Sorry about that. I have my food now. I'm gonna let it cool down a bit before I start eating it, though. I'll probably eat it during, like, stages. She says she's safe according to, proceeding according to plan. Please send a reply. The doctor squad has successfully slipped past the checkpoint and infiltrated Highbury, thanks to the mercenaries working with Rhodes Island. Catherine, there is a problem with the conveyor belt at loading area number 9. Let's have a look. There's a loose nut. Pato, I'm here. You're on shift today, and we're running shorter and shorter on time. What are you doing? We're running shorter on time. If we don't speed things up, the sarcasm will smear your brains across the steel here. Sorry, Catherine. Now hand me the spanner. Okay. Here. Quicken your feet. All of a sudden... You. Long time no see, Granny. I'm back. Pato. Catherine. See your team leader after work for a write-up. What? You let unauthorized personnel into the factory's most important landing zone. You're lucky you haven't been sacked. Granny, this isn't Pato's fault. It wasn't him who let me in. Good. Pato, bring Tommy and Day with you to get written up. I'd better not see a single one of you try to wiggle out of this. You, and the strange character from God knows where next to you. Me? Come. Act 3, Scene 7. Sir, why is this palace so quiet? Palace? What palace? You are facing the outer walls of the palace. Move aside, big heap of metal. You're blocking the sunlight. I'm facing nothing but an empty house. I am a steam knight. I purge all evil and injustice. Young man, it's over. No, it is not, nor shall it ever be. So long as we still know what is right and what is wrong, so long as we never hesitate to make the right decision, it shall never be over. I made my way here precisely for that reason. I invite all men to join me. Even you have a right to relax your tightly clenched fist, am I right? Amiya, our cover's blown. How many hostiles? Recon operators report 4 mercenary patrol teams headed in our direction. We have to pass through the district to reach the Defense Forces command tower. And we've only just made it inside. The Sarkaz forces are way too quick to react. We're being ambushed. How is the backup route looking? If the mercenaries have been lured to this front here... No, it won't work. There's another squad coming up fast. The Self-Salvation Corps just spotted them. What did they say? They had a run-in with this squad while when they evacuated from Sudian. They say these Arknights fight. Well, they're inhuman. The vampires' men. Notify all units. The operation has been cancelled. Prepare to pull out immediately. There's no time. The vampire fighters are moving way too fast. The Self-Salvation Corps has engaged them. Change the plans. We're aiding the Self-Salvation Corps. Where's the Kautus? What Kautus? Don't play dumb with me. She's been with you lot the last couple days. I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm not talking. Not even if you kill me. Another stubborn bunch. Ugh! What's this? Bugs? Bloody. Hang in there, friend. Back in formation. Don't let the bugs on the ground separate you. Defender operators. Cover our allies' retreat. Rhodes Island and the Self-Salvation Corps came here together, and so we will leave together. Let's go. Equivalent exchange.
All operators must maintain strict discipline. Draw swords.
What a pain.
Awaiting order.
Cut them to pieces.
Let me create a diversion. Arch unit charging. I'll do my best.
Awaiting orders.
You can't stop me.
Gives the target and surrounding friendly units a barrier that absorbs damage. Okay.
I'm so tired. Get away from me, please.
Awaiting order.
A warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield.
You ran into me.
My rule is to balance your lives hang in.
I'm so tired. Get away from me, please.
Awaiting orders.
I will complete my assignment. Attention, you want to topple me? By what? At attention, ready to fall in.
Easy enough. Trying to eat some of my food. I forgot to try and eat my food while the stage was going, because I blew past the stage. So let me just devour some of this pizza. There we go. We have a signal, Amia. Good. Casters, hold the shield with me. Everyone else, get to the corner. Sarkaz casters raise their staves together. Monsters made of blood rush up from the underground. The entire street opens its gaping maw beneath the soldiers. There's too many of them. Black lines cut through the flesh of the monsters, but even more rise again from the fallen, gnawing away at the arts, forming a defensive barrier. The fighters run for their lives, but the stench from the predator's jaws is never far behind. Finally, they make it to another alley. They find themselves face to face with an aura that is potent, pure, and fearsome. Stop. The bloody tide stops in its tracks. It was as though they ran into an invisible wall when they rounded the corner. The maggot-shaped arts creations smashed themselves to pieces, leaving bloody trails on the ground. The empty street is completely silent. Casualties. We're fine. We got it out quick enough. I hope we've delayed the Sarkaz, made things safer for Allerdale and Siege. Thanks everyone, especially our Self-Salvation Corps friends. Thank you for being willing to take this risk with us. Commander Clavicia calls Rhodes Island our most important ally. We're always ready to do what we have to. Plus, if this is Rhodes Island operator here hadn't helped us, the vampire would have done all of us in a long time ago. No need to thank me. I've seen too much meaningless killing in Londinium. I must stop my compatriots who have gone too far. Who are you? Sorry, Doctor. Are we not welcome? I had a little fight with Granny when I skipped out on the factory last year. A dozen big, bruising workers surround you. Their eyes are filled with suspicion. You glance at the drills and spanners in their hands, then at Feist, dressed like the workers, but here on his own. Seems like it was more than just a little fight. I guess Granny is still sore at me. Got no reason to be sore at a dead man. I didn't even know my only grandson was alive till a minute ago. I wanted to send a message, but it was too risky. The Sarkaz monitor all communications into Highbury. I can't let the Sarkaz tie you to the Self-Salvation Corps. So you join that band of crackpots. The Londinium Citizen Self-Salvation Corps. We did a lot in Sudian, Granny. The Sarkaz control the media, and they call us an unarmed violent gang. You're the ones who blew up the wall. There was the Also, hold on. I can't look at it right now. The Sarkaz damaged the walls while pursuing the core. Unnamed violent gang, not unarmed. Whatever I said. So you're here to blow up the armory, right? It was mostly the Sarkaz who did it. So you're here to blow up the armory? Of course not. What did you say to your Self-Salvation Corps friends? We're making weapons for the Sarkaz to use against Victorians? No, Granny. What I told them was, my granny stands up to protect their livelihoods. I know you think I'm a brat with a little more than a couple of silly tricks. But I didn't come back to drag the workers into this, and I'm not here to try and convince you either. I have my goals, of course, and it'd be brilliant if you were able to help me. But first, I just wanted to see that you're safe. Come here and let me have a look at you. Granny, you've put on a few inches, brat. Yeah, I grew a little bit. I'll have the goods soon. A suit of steam armor. How many men would kill to get one like it? The nobles of Lothian love to flaunt such storied antiques. Oh, and be sure to ask those Colombian firms as well. They might be interested, even if the tech is centuries old. Getting it out will be no trouble at all. What business do you think I'm running in Londinium these days? The Sarkaz are a gang of raving psychopaths, and they alone can't rule Londinium. I have friends in the defense forces. They'll take care of it for me. I've heard it has a few external blemishes, however. I do hope that won't hurt the price. Why not cancel the deal if you're so worried about the price? Who's there? Don't worry, we just happen to be traveling the same way. Get this intruder out of here. Say, where are my bodyguards? I've asked them to take a short nap. You can go and wake them once we've finished our chat. All of them? Against just one of you? One? Oh my, now. Look behind you. This is Londinium. I've got friends in high places. Oh, where are they? Do tell. I bet I'd get on famously. Don't do anything rash now. Play nice with us and nobody has to get beat. Whatever Siege says, you do. Otherwise, my claws won't be aimed at the wall next time. Alright, I understand. Also, Desta waits. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Seriously? You really got into it there. I learned it from you lot. Now then, let him go. Way too dank. There. This guy's just whimpering. You can open your eyes and put your hands down now, Mr. Bader. We're not going to hurt you, at least not yet. What do you want? My terms are clear. Cancel the deal for the Cumberland steam armor. And you'll let me go if I agree? Yes. But I'll make sure you keep your side of the bargain. Show Mr. Bader a map, Morgan. With pleasure. The marks on the map. Those are my warehouses. How do you know about them? You don't pay much attention when you're out and about. You shadowed me? Correct. The Sarkaz cannot be bribed. If they learn that you've smuggled so much contraband into Londinium through your connections... How helpful do you think your friend will be? Will he be in any position to protect you? You're considering tipping off the Sarkaz. That may well get us all killed, but they won't have you know anything if you continue to work with us. They won't have to know anything. Do I have a choice? I understand your circumstances, and I appreciate the opportunity to work with you. You will be compensated fairly. Wait a second. What is your relationship to Cumberland? Are you her attendant? I can't imagine House Cumberland is in a position to hire one. Watch your mouth. Cumberland serves Vina, not the other way around. She's the daughter of a duke. You don't mean... No, I'm nobody. Cumberland and I are comrades, along with thousands upon thousands of Londoniers who long for peace. I do hope you're one of them, Mr. Bader. Act 4, Scene 3. Light. Action. All those loyals to this land stand with me. The final battle against evil lies before us. Children, do you live here? Hide not in the corners and shadows, even if you cannot hold a sword. There is more to being a warrior than simply holding a sword. Open your eyes, watch, listen, think. Tell me what is right, what is wrong, and what kind of life you wish to live. I march onwards, with you as my witnesses. Brilliant! Look how good Ralph is, Lady Golding. How much he's grown. And to think he was a mischievous little beastling just 4 years ago. Yes, I'm delighted. A handkerchief, Molly? Handkerchief? Oh yes, I can't stain my clothes with tears in front of the children. Oh, but I can't stop crying. To think that Ralph and the other kids will be leaving school so soon. It's time for them to have a rest. And us too. Yes, the final scene. That's the best part. Who's clapping? You didn't invite anyone to the rehearsal today, did you? The teachers cast their glances towards the back of the classroom. A man in military attire clapped slowly by the door. What a splendid performance. Colonel Leto. I didn't think the commander of the defense forces would grace this classroom with his presence. Good afternoon, ladies.
Weaklings.
Check a couple things real quick. I think we're good. But I will eat some of my food real quick. Because I don't want it to get cold. So every chance I get, I'm gonna eat some of it. I want to try and get through all of Chapter 11 in one stream, but I don't think I'll be able to. So we'll likely... I'll likely stream more on, like, Monday. But we'll try to make as much progress as we can today. Actually, I think I'm gonna finish my food right now. Nope, I lied. What are you doing here? I said as much. I am here to enjoy the performance. Stay behind me, children. I mean no offense, Lieutenant Colonel Leto, but you are not welcome here. No need to be so distant, Golding. I've always approved of your efforts. The more difficult the times, the more important education becomes. You're speaking as though you have nothing to do with these difficult times. You're always finely dressed, aren't you? No matter what the times. The only difference is that you have more and more medals on your collar now. Helping the military commission govern Londinium is not an easy job. I've encountered my share of difficulties. But my love for this city has never changed. I'm just like you in that regard. I'm sure Tom the cobbler agrees. Tom is a friend too. The memory of that incident pains me. He got drunk and babbled something about His Majesty and the Steam Knights. He could hardly even spell sarcasm. He's still alive. Life is about more than simply being alive. Are you accusing me of betraying Victoria, Golding? I respect your courage, ladies. But you're mistaken. I came here to take another look at the school, nothing more. It's unfortunate that you seem to have forgotten me, Miss Molly. Forgotten? I spend just as much time here as you have. I even remember the children who came with you. Unfortunately, I was no longer so free after my graduation from the military academy. Golding, you trusted me once. We discussed the history of Gaul, the eternal pillars of literature. That will do, Lieutenant Colonel Leto. I am grateful to your father for sponsoring the school over the years. He made efforts to light the torch of wisdom to drive out ignorance and chaos. I once thought you like him, but you've extinguished the tiny spark within your own two hands. Is that so, Golding? Why do you think the school has survived this long? Why, you don't even dare threaten us. I have no reason to threaten you. Certainly not with the children around. We're all remnants of Gaul, Miss Golding. We know the merciless devastation of war, the snuffing of countless lives, and the destruction of human progress towards wisdom. I don't want Londinium to be the next Lingons, nor do I want to see the wonderful play that I just witnessed disappear forever. This is the burden that I have chosen to bear. I cannot endorse your views. The Royal Opera House of Lingons has long since been reduced to ash, but Ode de Triomphe continues to be performed around the world. Buildings fall and metal giants rust, but what we created within never dies. It's our knowledge, our culture, our hope. The darker the clouds of war, the more important it is that we hold onto our beliefs, trust in beauty, and remind ourselves that what separates us from the animals. You believe you can win a conflict like this. What you respect, fear, power, violence. These things can't keep everyone here forever. I can only believe. I can't keep everyone suppressed forever. I must believe. I can only believe. As long as there is light, we'll follow it. I envy you, then, Miss Golding. Look up at the dark clouds above you. A storm is coming. There is still time before the thunderbolt falls. We have a choice. I hope to see the conclusion of the play someday. The commander of the defense forces does not linger on the streets after leaving the school. He came alone. There are none of his men in the vicinity. She must find Adams and get the news out. No matter how amicable the commander looked, there must be a reason why he came to this school. Molly does not know. Neither do the children, but Golding does. Why are there so many Sarkaz? The path to the bookstore is a familiar one. She has tread it countless times in the past 2 years. But today, the path seemed much longer than she remembers. She cannot see the end of it. She remembers the day that the Sarkaz came. Can she truly change? I must believe. Lance, Patty, the kids, none. Yeah. You need not have bothered yourself with a task as simple as this, sir. Then you should have arrested Miss Golding, Leto. It's what Manfred would have done. Old Red Eye wouldn't have left a soul in the school alive. We know you're not Sarkaz. You want to save one final shred of dignity for yourself, for the defense forces, scared that the children would grow up to be like you. You sound just like our unconscious guest here. Yes, we're feeling. She cares about those young Victorians more than she cares about herself. We can feel it, but we find it difficult to understand, especially since it's not a rise from the ties of blood. Sir, we find you interesting. Through you, we understand ourselves, understand the Sarkaz better. You want answers? About what? You did not seem the kind of person to be curious about the Sarkaz, Leto. She's a shapeshifter? My apologies, sir. The mission always comes first. Take Miss Molly back, Lieutenant Colonel. Watch her closely. We will stay by Miss Golding's side and gather intelligence for the coming war. Yes, sir. What's the matter, sir? Someone has discovered us. Should I call the men? No need. They can stop him. They can't stop him. He has learned much from Teresa. We will have an interesting conversation. Oh. Molly? Did anything happen while I was away? No. Lance and Patty were scared. Ralph and the older kids took the little ones to get some rest. Good. I've been thinking. The children will enjoy the play, won't they? Our hard work will mean something? What are you talking about? No, nothing. Don't mind the commander of the defense forces, Miss Golding. I'm not feeling well. I need some rest. Sorry, Molly. Could you clean up? Sure. There should be an end to the play. The Steam Knights arrived at the palace. The children will perform the final scene in a few days, won't they? Absolutely. There sure are lots of possibilities, so long as the conclusion of the story hasn't yet been told. But even a play that has been performed can be changed. People always look for the latest. You've been watching for a long time, haven't you? The stage is right here. Why don't we start from the beginning, from Act 1? Everyone dreams about how things would have been if none of this had happened. What ifs mean nothing. But if there's even a remote possibility, why don't you join us on stage, sir? Good morning, sir. There's a look of concern on your face. Is something worrying you? The horn of victory has blown atop the walls for 3 days and nights, but why do I feel uneasy? Has our great general not returned triumphant? Praise his bravery and fearlessness. Bravery? Fearlessness? Perhaps. A call to arms united our spirit, but the price was ruin and hate. You should have served a king, but you gave your loyalty to a thief. The mysterious spectator takes a step forward, his gaze moving from his counterpart to the distance. He is not building up tension, but recalling memories of another battlefield, memories that have laid dormant for too long. It is not a king that I serve, but honesty and courage. Destruction awaits if you stay on this path. The destruction of the individual is nothing compared to having to watch a tyrant bring this country to ruin. How do you know her end, sir? I can predict her end, as I know her beginning. How could you reminisce about the past, young as you are? Who can keep the sun from setting? Such desires are the greatest greed. I have seen countless acts of madness performed in the name of preserving this glory. They turn to banditry, or fight amongst themselves, ultimately accelerating the decay of this country. Molly turns around on stage, takes a few steps, then turns back, hiding her face in the shadows. But her counterpart speaks first. His expression is calm, like water undisturbed. He shifts his hands, then crosses them. They will not admit that those who fall try to cling to the sunlight, but grasp only lightning. Must they accept their fall? They can choose to not look back at the peak. If they would turn their gaze around, they would realize that it is no abyss lying before them, but fertile earth in which infinite possibilities lie. I yawned there for a brief second, so I needed to pause it. You say the abyss can be conquered. You do not know the truth of the abyss, nor do you understand that time is short. The abyss lies before us. We can fill it with flesh and burn the remnants with blood, leaving behind wide open fields for those who come after. Only when the ashes of old are blown away can a new crop grow on the field to feed the next generation. Right into the stage.
Let's go! Take them all by storm!
Let's begin.
We'll take them out all at once.
Don't leave bloodstains. They're hard to clean.
Cut them to pieces.
Follow me! Target marked. Initiation complete.
A warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield.
I'll charge them. Relax. It'll be over in an instant.
Now's the time to help everyone out.
Got it. Cut them to pieces. Awaiting orders.
There's enemies? There's enemies?
I'll put up my shield. Don't stand in front of me. The Tempest must wipe out all that blocks the way.
I'm so tense. Stay back!
Finish my food. Oh boy.
Doctor, leap on. Kick ass.
Loading complete.
At attention, you want to topple me? By what?
There we go.
Weaklings.
Ooh, no after story for this one? Okay, interesting. When do I get... There's tutorial. I was gonna say, when do I get Dagda? Maybe here? Dagda is at 11:15. There's 19. Oh boy. Hell stages also give Dagda. Because I want Dagda. Time for the tutorial stage. Tutorial about these things. Looks like. Skyfire Clicking Cutter. Excuse me. What are these?
What a pain.
Oh, Siege is here too.
A warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield.
Oh, Interlapsus. Harmful effects detected. Initializing treatment program. Scanning complete. The twigs that crave have polluted the nearby ground, causing continuous damage to nearby operators. Operators fighting on the ground will take more damage. I'll take care of it. Caution, target structure is complex and attacking may have unpredictable results. Oh hey, Growth, they're up.
A warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield.
It's attacking. It's some sort of Sarkaz arts. The necrosis damage it inflicts prevent the use of skills when it accumulates, while also causing continuous arts damage. Let's finish this quickly.
My weapon chooses its worthy wielder.
Whoa. It turned you into a monster, but it looks pretty weak. The more enemies defeated, the higher its HP, attack, and defense when spawned from the twigs that crave. releases corruption, causing nearby units to continuously lose HP. So, the more enemies defeated. So does that mean my allies or their allies? I'm gonna assume it means their allies, so we need to take them out fast. Analysis shows that it absorbs the strength of fallen. Okay, there we go. Why did he even bother? It was about to tell me anyway. The more of its allies fall in battle, the more power it absorbs, increasing its strength. It will be at its strongest if all allies are defeated. Support squad has arrived. Please instruct as to whether to prioritize its destruction or reinforce the defense.
Program initializing.
私からは敵が見えるけど向こう Get lost
弱者の先には
旗を出すなはいよ発射遅すぎる
どうするおつもり空があなたを焼き尽くしますわ
Mission accomplished.
There we go.
契約通り任務は完遂した確認する
Simple tutorial. There's one over here. The defense location is right around here, though. We'll see what we can do. Oh, straight into combat. Let's go. And this will give us Dagda too. Oh, no. Wait.
I've got this.
No.
I've got this. I can do this.
Let's begin.
We'll take them out all at once
Follow me.
Awaiting orders. You can't stop me.
Arch unit charging. Apple pie.
a warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield
Fear not! Here I come!
All right. Chainsaw no unari gun.
Kick ass!
Got it. Got it.
my weapon chooses its worthy wielder My weapon chooses its worthy wielder.
I'll do my best.
Why are you losing
Hands
HP?
are tense.
Does the circle really reach that far?
The distance. There.
We'll do this then.
You
Just to keep her alive.
get lost. Solidify. My rule is to balance your lives hanging. Solidify.
Can I feel the distance? There!
My rule is to balance your lives hanging. Solidify. My weapon chooses its worthy wielder.
Mission accomplished.
Oh. You saw it, Morgan? The guards at the warehouse were so nervous that they didn't even see me coming. Alright, you win today. Take your jerky. Ha! Knew you'd be cross. Next time you can come with. And loser has to keep guard. They're staring at us. Who? What are you staring? What's this about? Get out of the way already. I need a drink from the kitchen. Thirsty after all that work. You shouldn't have done that. You mean lure away the Sarkaz patrol, giving you people a chance to escape the warehouse? Yes. Funny way to say thank you. Where did I hear you wrong? Our comrades in Sudian are grateful, and so are we. The mission went well, but why did you have to burn the warehouse? Oh, they burnt it. It belonged to a Victorian merchant, not the Sarkaz. The Sarkaz were just occupying it. Those fat cats are as cowardly as they are greedy. They want to help the Sarkaz. I'm happy to make them suffer for it. You do understand that you're just driving them into the arms of the Sarkaz. Even better, more than just warehouses to burn for those traitors. That's gangster talk, not the way of the Self-Salvation Corps. Do you still insist on working with these people, Lady Isabel? My name is Dagda here. It's just, it's Dagda. When Allerdale introduced you and Her Highness to us, we thought. Siege told you on day one that it was the Glasgow gang working with the Corps, not Her Highness Alexandria and the Knight of the Tower. Do you really want to see a hoodlum lead us, even take the throne? What shit for brains gives you the right to say that about Bina? Sword back in its place, Morgan. We're on their ground. Many of us would rather follow you in Cumberland. Stuff it. I mean, you've said your piece. As long as we still stand together, you should not speak ill of our fellows. Sorry, I spoke out of turn. You shouldn't have stopped me. And let you make a mess for Vina to clean up, not to mention the bunny and the doctor for Rose Island. Next time, think about your company before you lose your head. Heh, never thought the day would come when you'd be the one talking me out of losing my head. Talking to me about losing my head. Give me a second. I need to grab a certain thing. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I got my certain thing. Gotta change and adapt to the environment. Look how Dagda's doing. Don't say that. It feels weird. You think I want to congratulate you? Living your way doesn't feel too nice. But there's one thing the past couple of days have taught me, Morgan. We have to adapt to keep up with Vina. Here, your jerky. Neither of us won today. Keep it. I've got no appetite. I've been thinking, Hannah, is this the kind of life that Vina wants? Since when did nobles and merchants give the respect she deserves? You're not thinking from the right angle. They'll realize Vina is a good leader, and respect Vina, and the respect Vina gets, she would have earned herself. Ah, Lady Allerdale, finally. Sorry, I've been busy. I heard you were looking for a buyer for the steam armor. The news reached you quickly. Only rumors, only rumors. A friend mentioned that a suit of steam armor from Londinium might appear on the market. But the transaction fell through at the last minute. I see. I would not recommend that you sell something so valuable too easily. It's hard to get a good price under current market conditions. Thank you for the advice. I'm just trying to do something useful for what little my family assets have left. What little assets my family has left. I understand. What little money we have means nothing to the Sarkaz. Has the banquet not yet started? There's no need to wait for me. We can't have that now. You've been the pillar of Central Londinium for ages. It's all thanks to you that we're alive today. How is one even supposed to negotiate with a bunch of lunatics who don't care about money? You flatter me, sir. I'm just a nobody who spoke up a few times at the unjust treatment that those like you have received. Now, don't say that. House Cumberland will undoubtedly rise again under your leadership. Yes, the past is the past now. When Londinium knows peace again, not to say that she's not at peace right now, of course. In any case, House Cumberland will have our gratitude. Colonel Leteau is here. We salute you. It's an honor, Colonel. You have not graced us with your presence for many nights. We are most grateful for your efforts to keep the peace. I've come into a few bottles of excellent wine. They may not have been so impressive in the old days, but in times like these, they are a rarity. I'll have my butler bring them to your residence. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be no more banquets from this day forth. The military commission will be interviewing you soon. Good luck. Huh? Wait, no, what do you mean? Colonel Leteau! Colonel Leteau! Lady Allerdale, you must speak to Colonel Leteau. This is serious. People will die. Colonel, please don't go. Miss, this is... The Sarkaz have been biding their time. They let those fools wallow in luxury in order to keep the dukes from coming together. There is nothing any given duke would like more than become the master of Victoria. At the center of Victorian high society is Londinium, and whomever makes an enemy of Londinium nobility makes an enemy of the entire state. Such an offense against Victoria would have forced the dukes to put aside their individual interests and join forces to march on Londinium. But the Sarkaz don't care anymore. They've achieved their goal. Some think what befell Londinium the past few years was a disaster, but now War has truly come. What about us then? Could you talk to Leto as the noble suggested? You might. They called me Pillar, but whomst among them set foot in Cumberland Manor before the Sarkaz took control of Londinium? Which of the Duke's true friends participated in these pretentious banquets? I'm simply a figurehead for nobles who lack chips on their side, or those who are trying to protect themselves. They flock to the Cumberland banner, so Cumberland may take the fall for them. So what you mean is, let's go. Inform our core and Rhode Island friends to evacuate the Ducal Manor immediately. It is no longer safe. We'll take one last look at our ancestral home. Allerdale, you are. A letter from the Duke. A few days in Ottering, then Highbury. Look at all those factories and houses packed tight together. Never seen a place so cramped. Can we go back to the Londinium after the mission, Captain? And do what? I don't know what Manfred was thinking, hiring kids like you who've barely taken a life before. I'm not a kid. I did a lot of jobs back in Columbia with Grimm when he was still around. Grimm, huh? I have to babysit now because he got himself killed in Sudian. I should have taken his head and nabbed the bounty beforehand. Where are you, friends? It's not my job to teach you how to be a mercenary, kid. But it is yours to read the map. Where do we go next? Munitions factory number 11 is just ahead. Manfred gave a pretty long list. There are all over their workers who know something, right? Just take them somewhere and no witnesses and kill them? I would kill everyone in the factory if it were up to me. All that crap about killing only the ones who know anything. Does he have any idea how much trouble that is? Well, he's the boss. Whatever. Put away the list, let's go. Feist. Bateau. It's been a year. I missed you. Sorry, I should have tried to send word. Never mind that, I'm just glad to see you. For the past year, I've been telling everyone that you've definitely come back alive. Remember that vent over there? There's a bit of a platform outside the other end of it. A few years ago, you said you would jump off it into the factory next door. Onto. We were scattered out of our minds. If was what more than 30 meters off the ground, fallen, you'd be dead for sure. But you dared to jump, and then Tommy jumped. Dave jumped. And in the end, I jumped too. Whenever they ask me if I think you're dead, I tell them to look up at the vent. We weren't afraid of anything, were we? So these are your Self-Salvation Corps friends? Hello. Give me a second. It might have to be at the end of this last one that I stop streaming because my throat is already dying. Even with the cough drop. The cough drop is helping a bit, but it can only do so much. So likely after this this scene, or after this mission, Because if there's an end story to this mission as well, I'm gonna do that as well. But if there's not, then oh well. I will do as much as I can with how much my voice can take. That is the plan. Looks well. Read to me. I heard that there are all kinds in the core, because the rumors are true. The doctor is definitely well read. I'm partnered with the Corps. You have partners? It's sounding more and more like the real deal, isn't it? So why have you come back? Anything I can help with? Pato. Catherine, I'm sorry. Get back to work. Yes, ma'am. Matthias is back, isn't he? He's not going anywhere? Don't you worry about him right now. As for your friend, we should talk somewhere else. Don't blame Catherine, Feist. She's been protecting us from the Sarkaz for the past year. It's thanks to her that we haven't lost anybody. There was one time where things got really bad, and she called on the leader of the defense forces to mediate. But the Sarkaz have been putting more pressure on us, on Catherine. I know, Pato. I don't blame Granny one bit. When I joined the Corps and truly understood what I was facing, I knew what a difficult decision Granny had to make. Alright, talk. What did you come back for? We're looking for something. Something? Yes, a hidden Sarkaz supply line that's been fueling their mad war. We're certain the line ends here in the industrial district. We need to find it. Vi says no one knows the district better. None better than you, Granny. I'm sure you can help. That's why I came to you. Flattering, you won't do you any good. We just need a clue. Yes, we won't cause any trouble for the factory. Why do you think I would help you? Maybe I already told Pato to call the Sarkaz mercenaries. If that's the case, I'll have to flee with the others. Tell me, how many died in the incident you caused in Sudian? Do you remember their names? Their faces? Do you remember what they looked like when they died? Their last words? Don't rush your answer, Feist. And don't try to bluff your way through it. I don't know what this doctor of yours thinks, but I know you. You think you're smart, but being smart enough isn't enough to fool death. Catherine, a bunch of Sarkaz just showed up at the door. Doctor, we need to get out of here. They said Leto, a Defense Force officer, wants to see you. You are to be escorted. What? George, watch these two and make sure they stay put. Care for a smoke? Don't bother trying to butter me up. Littell wants to see me? Yes. We've been meeting our targets. Nothing for him to worry about. Whatever, he wants to see you. Come with us. Give me a minute. I have something to take care of first. We're not asking, old bag. I have to put someone in charge. This is very sudden, after all. We can wait a little bit, can't we? I don't think the general wants a scene. You have 10 minutes. Good enough. Granny, why are they looking for you? None of your business. But shut up and come with me.
All must return to the existing order. None may disobey the rules.
We'll definitely do the next one. I can handle one more. Ooh. Twig is up there. Maybe I'll have Horn kill it. One of these tiles might be able to reach it, but she might also have too much range. I'll have to find out. More story. Feist thought he was getting a talking to. He was ready, thinking about what he could say to move the heart of the stubborn old worker before him. Catherine has seen too much. Her temper is harder than the machines in the factory. His cleverness with words has never been any use before Catherine. Her fierce gaze sees through all, turning his wits to mush. Feist feels a familiar sense of helplessness. He always turns back into a little boy before his grandmother, clumsy, excitable, prone to saying something he instantly regrets. He can only wait for his grandmother to speak first. But Catherine says nothing. She leads Feist down a long path. When they finally stop, he glances at her expression and, surprisingly, sees no hint of anger. What's up ahead? Nothing. I remember this workshop. You used to come here by yourself. Why is the production line empty, though? What do you think this place was? The old workers wouldn't say, but Pato made a bet with Day that it's a secret workshop where they used to build steam armor. Tell Pato he won the bet. So this is really the steam armor? No, I don't understand. I followed you down this path a few times. I heard the machines running, the conveyor belt moving. They still run if someone hits the switch. Why was it abandoned? Because the Steam Knights disappeared? No, even without orders, these machines are too dear to be left idle. Why? Why indeed? The aging worker pats the machine as though she was asking the cold metal. Feist realizes that all the machines are spotless, with nary a speck of dust on them. It is as though time has stopped in this secret workshop. Do you know why I'm the only one who came here? Cam, Mike, Branson, they should have been standing there. And Harvey, he'd be responsible for watching the thrusters. When the production line moves as one, I guarantee you've never heard a song quite like it. Harvey. Isn't that Dad's name? Yes. Your dad was the smartest worker in the entire city. He came up with all sorts of crazy ideas. I've only seen him in photos. I wish you could have seen him in the flesh. You were like him. Too much so at the times. Harvey was an expert in steam engines. He was like an engine himself, going so fast that I couldn't keep up. I should have kept up. Didn't Dad go missing after getting caught in some business on the streets? That's what you said whenever I asked. Some business. If what happened 26 years ago could be called as such. 26 years ago? Didn't His Majesty... Yes. Then Didium fell into chaos overnight. The nobles were at each other's throats, and the dukes led the way. Lots of factories got hit, especially military ones making steam armor. We were forced to stop work. Harvey, he was young then, almost the same age as you now. He loved the factory and he loved the city. He left the factory with the other workers to protest against the nobles. He wanted the dukes to hear the voices of the workers to protect our livelihood. Naive, wasn't he? I think back to it on quiet nights. Was it a cold one in December? Was his blood warm when it came out of his chest? Dad did it for his ideals. You want to say how noble it is to sacrifice for your ideals? The leaders of your self-salvation corps and that doctor of yours is what they say when they mourn their dead friends. It's what Commander Clavicia would say. As for the doctor is even more quiet than usual at times like those, but I can feel the pure, heartfelt sincerity. The dead are in no position to appreciate their greatness. As for the ones they leave behind, these words of consolation are like cigarette smoke, light and fluffy, comforting for a moment, but when it leaves your lungs. She takes a breath, a pause, then breathes out again. The temperature is not low enough to leave a white fog. Only one thing is for certain. 41 workers walked onto the largest street in central Londinium that night, 26 years ago. None came back. Nothing changed about the city. The nobles, the wealthy, they pretend nothing happened. But this workshop would never be the same again. I'm too old to train another group of workers as good as them, Feist. They should have taken over for me. Harvey should have been the one to teach you all you knew. Granny. Believe it or not, I've never blamed Harvey, and I've never blamed you. But think about it carefully. You should have thought about it carefully when you tried to leave Pato and the others into your rebellion. If you survive this war, but the others don't, will you be like me, fraught with grief and regret night after night, leaning over machines with no one to use them? I didn't understand your decision 3 years ago, Granny. But now, when I think back to that day, when I try to put myself in your shoes, it would have taken me a long time to make that decision. You're right, being smart isn't enough to fool death. But compromise and subservience won't get the job done either. Catherine takes a drag on her cigarette and says nothing. I can't say I've thought this through. I can't guarantee we'll be able to drive out the Sarkaz. I've been feeling the weight on my shoulders ever since Rhodes Island told us that we didn't have much time. I'm afraid I'll do something stupid again. But I can't stop here. Otherwise, I'll never be able to face Johnny, Gabby, and the Self-Salvation Corps fighters who gave their lives. Too young, too naive, little brat. You there, Doctor. You look like you've got a grip on yourself, unlike this boy. Would you kindly take care of him? Don't worry. There's a hidden compartment in the third drawer of my desk. What? The Sarkaz are watching closely. There is no place for you here. Read it and get out. Don't bring trouble to anyone else. Thanks, Granny. You catch a glimpse of Catherine's expression as she passes by you. Sorrow and gratification. Let's take a look, Doctor. Granny's room is over here. Do you have the goods? Oh, here. How's Bader? I heard he's ill. Anyway, it's all here. Our business is concluded. Good. Please pass on my gratitude. One after another, heavily armed mercenaries emerge from the warehouse. Their leader walks towards the Self-Salvation Corps and extends the hand, not holding a weapon. Are you our new employer? I'm Totter. Hey, it's this guy. Hello, Totter. Thank you for making the trip. The container was a little stuffy. Not that it's much different out here. Huh. Welcome to Londinium. Team 8, take our new friends to the base. Watch out for Sarkaz patrols. Yes, ma'am. Come with us. The scales tip ever so slightly in our favor. We don't have much time left, Clavicia. They've been culling the nobles. We've evacuated the ducal residence and moved to Hideout Beta, which is better concealed. It's safe for now, but I'm not sure for how long. The number of Sarkaz in the city is increasing. The bulk of their forces will return in 3 days. The king, the terrible corpse eater. Anya told me about his powers. He eats war, turning the battlefield into part of himself simply by standing on it. How do we defeat the battlefield itself? The Duke's fleets must be united to win. Our soldiers have to avoid him. That's why we need to move before he returns. They're living legends. The royal court, if they truly plan to suppress the entire city, over the heads of Leto and the defense forces. You're good at math, Clavicia. What are our chances we triumph over these terrible legends? Very good then. The Self-Salvation Corps didn't come this far by crunching numbers. The fighters are doing their best. Whatever may come, at least our hearts are one, aren't they, Allerdale? Huh? Oh yes, of course. What are you thinking about? I'm thinking, I hope tomorrow goes as well as the past few days have. Don't you think they've been going a little too smooth? They've been going a little too smoothly lately. That's a good thing, isn't it? Good things don't happen on their own. I agree with Vina. You get lucky once, sure, but not every time. Hey, those men have been loitering for a while. The man on the corner glances at them briefly. He should not have been able to see so deep into the alley, but he suddenly pulls back his gaze and briskly walks away with his head lowered. Dagda. Yes? Tell Allerdale. Tell the court to evacuate the warehouse district immediately. Yes, Siege. They want to know why. We're being watched. No time to explain. Dagda, Indra, Morgan, proceed with the plan. Oh. Is everyone out? I don't know. Run now. Talk later. At a standstill.
Let's go.
We'll take them out all at once. A warrior must be ready to face death on the battlefield.
I will complete my assignment.
I bad lad. You win.
My rule is the battle. I'll impart on you all the cries I've heard.
Siege died and I wasn't paying attention to her. My bad.
Where did I go wrong?
You didn't do anything. I didn't even place you on the field yet. Didn't do anything wrong. We're trying again.
We have no time to hesitate. There are souls waiting for us behind the firing line.
I pass on.
My rule is to balance your lives hanging.
Arknights charging.
Need speed to succeed.
I'll take the lead. The rest is up to you guys. Doctor, relax. It'll be over in an instant.
Are you ready? Vermin. Just who are you weaklings going to stop like that?
Program initializing.
Just who are you weaklings going to stop like that?
Program hidden mode enabled.
Yielding is not an option. Solidify.
I'll charge. Who's next?
Mission accomplished.
Story? Yep. They're still on our tails. You should go. Some of your stations shouldn't risk her life for us. Would you say the same if it were Aladale or Clovicia? You're different. Heads down. Huh? Siege's hammer swings through the air, barely missing the fighter's head. A massive hole appears on the wall, with the sound of bricks cracking. Within lies the severed hand of Sarkaz's caster, still holding his wand. Different, am I? You... Stay close. I'm not in the habit of slowing down my fights. We haven't shaken them yet. These Sarkaz are persistent. Their uniform is the same, but the Sarkaz of Sudian are like children compared to these. They're different. What should we do? Keep making circles in the streets? You used to sit in front of a desk, didn't you? Huh? Yes, I was an accountant. Why? How did you travel? By car? There, yes. Do you know how wide a Londinium alley is? How long it takes to run from one end of Wellington to the other? How many sewer entrances there are on in each block? No. They do. Who does? Over here, Vina. Target sighted. Hostiles in the shadows. This way, Vina. I hear explosions coming from the safe house. The core fighters aren't moving quick enough. We have to cover their retreat. This way. Siege. Dagda, what's the situation? Clovicia evacuated with most of them. Allerdale. I'm fine. You're hurt. I can take care of myself. You should not have returned, Your Highness. They're inside. Kill them all! Forgive my bluntness, Siege. I don't think you should... You don't think I should have come back either? No, I don't think you should be at the front by yourself. Allow me to stand by your side, from time to time. Very well. Come forward, Dagda. You need to rest, Allerdale. The daughter of the Duke of Cumberland can't lose to the daughter of the Count of Manchester. I know Allerdale and Dagda better. And I'll stand by your side as your friend, Allerdale. What about you, soldier? Can you stand? Yes. Then grab your weapon and fight. Londinium, this iron jungle belongs to us. It's time to show the Sarkaz who is hunter and who is hunted. Your station won't save you, Aslan. We don't care. The Sarkaz future is now. You'll be buried with the past. Wait. Look out! Ambush behind the shelves! You're sharp. Hey, over here. No, here. Do it, Siege. Now then. Look out. Flashy, but pointless. Playtime's over. Drop your weapon, you can die a quick death. Make things easier for the both of us. Sorry, I got careless. No need to apologize. The sarcasm gazes at Siege, and Siege gazes at Allerdale. She raises her hand slowly. Her hammer falls to the ground with a bang. She winks at Allerdale, who raises the corner of her mouth. Wait, wind? But we're indoors. It's... Damn it, it's Arts! Incoming! Vina, catch. Now then. Yeah. Are you alright? I'm in a good mood, at least. The warehouse is collapsing. Pull out! Surround them inside. The safe house doesn't seem so solid. Your safe house. Safe houses aren't meant to be impregnable fortresses. Follow me. The hidden passage should be blocked under the rebel, but we need to up our pace. Ugh. You need to get your wounds wrapped, Allerdale. I'm fine. Take the fire to the Self-Salvation Corps camp. We'll split up. Your height siege. You showed your leadership. Now it's our turn to show you what we can do. Thank you. Where are you going? Allerdale's injuries can't wait. I'll find somewhere nearby. Wait, I remember this place. Surprised you still have an impression of this alley, Vina. That afternoon when he brought back the size of kings with them. What? Nothing. Let's keep going. The path connects to the palace of the ducal residence. Not many know of its existence. I have assurances from one whose word carries weight that Cumberland Manor will be safe until tomorrow. Enough for us to get these little flesh wounds treated. Vina. You knew I was there? I know what sounds I should hear from outside my room. My dear Lady Vina, staring at me won't heal the wounds on my back. Would you kindly change the bandages? Right. Ugh. Sorry, was I too heavy-handed? It's nothing. I just let my guard down there when there aren't so many eyes on me. You bled a lot. How many times did you get hit? Most of them don't hurt anymore. If I reacted faster, maybe it would have saved you a scar. Escaping from those fighters was no mean feat. Besides, I've been wanting to thank you for days. You've helped the Corps a lot, and you've even saved the old steam armor. I have a responsibility, Allerdale. I don't want to see you lose anything else. No matter, Vina. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, is that life usually doesn't go the way we want. If we did, we wouldn't be hiding in this dark little room, and we wouldn't be sitting with a bunch of stinking bandages. Let me think. We'd be sitting at a garden, taking tea together, discussing poetry and the weather. We could go hunting. The Alcorns are plentiful in the countryside this season. They run fast, but stop and stare when they see a crowd. Do you like hunting? I don't know. I'm almost forgotten how it feels myself, but I'm guessing you don't like dancing. At least not at those wondrous dance parties in the social season. I don't like them either. The dresses are so much stiffer than hunting attire, and so tight that they rob you of your appetite for the banquet. I can imagine. And what? I'm thinking the hunting outfit would look better on you. Vina. Yes? Perhaps we should have seen more of each other. Much more. Fate robbed us of a beautiful life against our will. Luckily, we still have the future. What's the matter? You look surprised. I'm talking about the future. You don't do that often? Back when I was running for my life, I hardly ever thought about the future. The past was in my dreams, and the future was in a fog where I couldn't see anything. This is not a flaw, Vina. It's a virtue. Nobles like to talk about the future, but most of them are more concerned about the dinner menu. It's not because they've grown numb to life, but because they understand how precious the present is. Like the present now? Yes. Like the present now. How's she? Good morning, lady. Everything is in order? Everything is in order. The steam armor. Why have you taken it out? It's too big to take with us. Is that so? Has Her Highness Alexandria left? Yes, she has her own mission. Your injuries are fine, thanks to Her Highness. I haven't seen you smile like this in a long time. Am I being too calm before the storm? It does bring back long-forgotten feelings to stand with Her Highness and the others. It's been some time since I encountered someone I could trust. Alexandria saved this armor for you. I may be a lowly servant, but I feel a sense of gratitude. It's the pride of Cumberland. Pride. The armor in your honored ancestors. I remember how you used to talk to them. Children like to wallow in fantasy. But I learned, 26 years ago, that it's no hero, just a broken hunk of metal. We've all changed, yet the armor seems frozen in time. Do you like Her Highness? She's very kind. I have seen how she treats her fellows, eating at the same food and sleeping in the same room. She's not like most nobles. She doesn't see them as her servants, nor will she abandon them. Victoria is fortunate. The heart of Her Highness is strong. Years of exile have not undermined her dignity and integrity. You said Victoria. What about yourself? What do you think of her? Oh, she has a bright future. So you. I got a letter last night. 2 in the same day. She's impatient. But you reunited with her. Do you remember how she came here with the size of kings 26 years ago? Must have been a sign. And its portents might come true very soon. And I need to go to the restroom real quick, and I'm also going to grab another drink of water. I am back. I had dropped frames like an hour ago. Interesting. Alright, let's continue. Yep. We've waited for so long, miss. You could... Allerdale, Cumberland. You will meet Vina again someday. I've long since given up waiting. How long has it been since Jim left? He returned home to County Peninsula the year after the incident. 25 years. We haven't had a gardener for a quarter century. I used to love the bushes that grew there. They tripped me up from time to time, but the tiny golden flowers that bloomed from them were so beautiful. The first batch all died the winter after Jim left. Mother sent people all around and learned that it was the noblest breed from Minos. The money it took to buy those seeds would have fed an ordinary family of Londoniers for half a decade. Your garden remains beautiful, even without that particular kind of bush. I tried. We all tried. You toiled tirelessly summer and winter in order to keep the garden in a good shape. But without those seeds, our garden would have never returned to its former glory. I sent her a letter to the 5th New Year's Day after Dad died. Her reply induced the seeds that House Cumberland could no longer afford. We're always living like this. If the Duke was here. She always had tricks up her sleeve. No, my lady, I meant your father. Father. I can hardly recall his voice now. Perhaps it's only in this garden that I remember how he held my hand, taught me how to swing a sword, knocked me down, then picked me back up and sat me on his shoulder. I wanted to preserve them many years ago. I tried everything I could, the garden, the armor, and the shadow of my father. But there's nothing worth less than want. I remember how I wanted to become a steam knight when I was little. Sometimes I think, growing up is such a cruel thing, isn't it? With the exception of a lucky few, we all become tired and unremarkable adults. Always treading carefully, not daring to speak our minds, grasping at straws when the waves are rough, and never letting go of the ones we find. What did you want to be when you were little? Not the servant of a fallen house, surely. It's an honor to be by your side. I want the truth. I suppose I listened to a lot of bard's tales when I was little. She the bard. Please don't tease me. Growing up means toppling, crushing, turning to dust the possibilities that we thought were within our reach when we were little. And here we are. Can I preserve House Cumberland's glory? It passed beyond my reach a long time ago. I, Allerdale, am who I am now. But even you cannot say who she will be, can you? Will be? I'm old. I couldn't squeeze a tune out of an instrument, even if I had the chance. But you promised me. Maybe you thought it was just a childish fancy. But I've always believed that you could do it. To be a steam knight greater than Charles Lynch, greater than any of our ancestors, or any of your ancestors. You'll do it for me, won't you? Enough. She wouldn't permit. Then what do you want to do? I'm behind you, no matter your choice. Take your time. You always made the right decision. permit me to walk around this garden one last time? It's most dear to me, even if it's just a shadow of its former self. She wants to say something, but does not open her mouth. She watches someone, with whom she has spent virtually every day of her entire life, walk towards the center of the garden. They have been through the worst of times together and have been transformed them in ways they could not have imagined. Allerdale realizes that she has not seen Alshi smile like this for years. She feels a sense of tranquility, one that she has not felt in ages. If there is still a chance. Suddenly, her attention is drawn to a speck of orange in the distance. It rapidly draws near, and she feels the temperature around her rise. Alshi, quick, we must! Oh, shit. In an instant, the manor is engulfed in flames. Your Highness. Quiet. You're disturbing my enjoyment of the view. Storied history turns to cinder, the proud manors of the nobles, reduced to charred ruins. Tiles carefully sculpted and laid over centuries peel off one by one. Flowers collected from all corners of the land wilt and wither. My orders were to investigate the nobles. Are you not happy with what I'm doing, Commander? Do you not enjoy the flames? Does the sound of blood evaporating not interest you? Hiss, hiss. Listen and save your Leto, my friend. I'm examining every drop of blood, as is my responsibility. I will insist your investigation, ensuring that no traitor walks free, as is my duty.
Target has been suppressed.
Motherfucker. Also, I love how she was basically told, you should get in this armor. So we went from 11.4 to 11.9, which is more progress than I did last time for sure. And there is still a bit to go. 10 more? About 10 more, plus like a couple big ones, so maybe I can do this within like 2 more streams. So, Monday and possibly Wednesday? But we will see.
Great. This place is the same as it ever was. Morning. Got any new plans?
But until Monday, this will be all for today. So, thanks everyone for joining, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Because tomorrow's D&D. Unless it's canceled, then it's more Arknights. So, see you then. Oh, also, in about 4 or 5 hours, we're streaming the CN 4.5 anniversary. So stay tuned for that. Bye bye.